got a side now, so the gears are turning a little bit.
Carol, would you take roll, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Commissioner Aspinall,
Here.
Brickner,
Here.
Grant,
Here.
Manti,
Here.
Simpson,
Here.
Ware,
Here.
Varga,
Here.
and Vice Chair Triplett.
Here, thank you. Tonight's a public hearing. We have to open up, number one is revised PUD plan number 2021. The address is 32680.
We need to approve the agenda.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I missed it. Thank you.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second? Okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Anyway, this is the address 32680 Northwestern. This is the construction of a multifamily apartment building in B2. This is a public hearing, so I'm going to open the public hearing. Yes?
No.
No,
You got to ask to hear from the folks.
I thought it wasn't canceled.
Well, there's nothing going to happen, so that's, I was told to open.
They'll
the
have to
public
tell
hearing.
you.
You want to talk?
Well, we could, yeah, I mean, just to, that the applicant has requested in writing to postpone the request until the September 15th meeting. So in that case, we would open the public hearing, then postpone the public hearing until that date.
Okay, can I get a motion to postpone, please?
We got to open the public hearing first and close it.
Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. There's no one here to talk on the subject. Can we get a
Did
motion?
you open it?
Yes,
Okay.
and then send it to them. So are you going to do a motion?
Am I move that we adjourn the revised PUD Plan 3/2023 till September's meeting at the request of the proponent.
There's support?
Yeah, support.
Okay, moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Next item on the agenda is site plan 60-7-2022. The address is 30,000 Grand River. It's renovation of an existing building for a restaurant with an addition of drive-through and a B3. The proponent is Nicholas Shanko. That's you. You want to step up and tell us what your plans are?
Wish ours worked.
Nick Shango, 30,000 Grand River.
Good.
Okay. What do you want to do?
So we've,
Oh, him first or you first?
Well, this would be a site plan, so
Yeah, typically we do the report first for site plan when there's no public hearing.
This isn't a public hearing, though. This is just a regular meeting.
Right, yeah, exactly. So there's no public hearing, so typically we would do the report first. I'm actually going to keep the report very short tonight because there's an issue with the use here, which is that Section 435 prohibits drive-in restaurants on parcels directly abutting any RA district, and the site does abut an RA district to the north and east, so the use isn't permitted in this location. So this is not something that you can approve. He is, if you deny him tonight, he can appeal to the Zoning Board of Appeals per the city attorney. And then he can come back if he gets the use variance that would be required to allow the use in this location. I won't go through the details of the site plan because they're not germane to that, to the motion that you'll be making tonight. But that's the summary of kind of what has to happen tonight. And of course, he is free to tell us about his plans.
yeah, certainly.
Yes.
Free to tell us what the project is.
so essentially we've already acquired those two properties, okay? We did it at our own risk. And we have a, we have a lease with Starbucks. If this gets approved, we can move forward. So we have a lease, it's official, depending on what happens at ZBA. And we just need those two parcels for a driveway. And, you know, I can give you a long history. I've been working on it for a few years. But do you have any questions? I mean, maybe we start off that way?
Are you talking about exiting through Purdue Avenue?
Correct.
So yeah, let me get the
So
site plan.
we have a thorough traffic study. It went back and forth with Mark maybe 4 or 5 times. Long story short, there it is. Long story short, the project works in the third party's eyes. It works in our eyes. We have 15, 16 car stack. They can exit the drive-through many different ways. They're not always going to exit to Purdue, but that stuff's stated in the traffic study. So, you know, and MDOT would not give us a driveway on Grand River. That'd make my life a lot easier. And they gave me a hard time. They changed the rule to 600, to 800, to 1,000, and maybe I went through 4 or 5 of their planners. And so we're at this point, and you know, we've already begun sending out letters to the residences, the people who live in Purdue. I don't care about anybody else except the people who live in Purdue. So as far as my radius is concerned, I'm reaching out to every single person that lives in that street or exit or comes in through that street. I'm taking their concerns, questions, and you know, before we go to ZBA, so we can get a little bit more insight from the neighborhood. I want to, you know, make sure that it works for everybody, and so far I think it does. And I just like to keep everybody. I'd like everybody to keep in mind that you're not going to leave through Purdue all the time. So the traffic study points out peak times from 8 to 9 and 5 to 6. And they got a 2.5 car stack in the peak time. And that's only in one of the peaks. I forgot, I think it's in the afternoon. The morning's not even impacted. So they did a traffic study on all the turnarounds at Middle Belt, how many people will go through Purdue. You know, it's no impact from that regard. The only impact is there's going to be during peak hours of business, a 2.5 car stack. So they can exit to our center. You know, as you know, we own the center. A little bit background there. I'm working on 5 Below. They'll be open in January. I'm building that right now. Big Lots, we just finished a few months ago. We have some good news that the old Office Max building is going to be a kids' empire. So we're going to raise that building up 25 feet, and it's a kids' indoor play center with their. So that's going to be Q1 2023. I'm going to start that late winter. So we're, you know, pretty much full. I'm going to move GameStop to the building just north of this, where the Starbucks is supposed to go. Just north of it, I've relocated GameStop there to give 5 Below the space next to Target. So as of right now, thank God, I'm full. We're completely full. So, you know, this is the next step.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Any question? I'd love to answer any questions or concerns. You know.
Mr. Brickner?
I just have one question. There used to be a bank there, I assume.
Yes,
Was there a drive-through window?
there was. Yes, there was. There used to be a drive-through.
It was be on the north side of the building?
It was on the north side of the building, correct?
Yeah, it's like between the buildings, yeah.
Correct.
I know you're going to be tearing out in the middle of the building, and the drive-through would be in what's in the middle of the building.
Actually, the drive-through is going to be in the same spot where it was. It's still going to be in between you see the bump out, there's a rectangular bump out. So
Yes.
the first car, I think I wrote 16, it's the first car, that's exactly where the old drive-through was. We're just taking that middle part out. You know, they had the canopy there, that's going to get ripped out. So they're 2 separate buildings now. It's going to be on the north side.
Yeah, no, that's where this is what I was asking, is where was the drive-through window for the bank before? At the same spot?
Same spot.
Same
Same
spot.
spot, correct, yeah. Yep.
But I'll ask those guys.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to ask those guys. I'll ask the staff.
Thank you, Mike.
So it's against the ordinance to have a drive-through restaurant next to,
But not a bank.
Correct.
Banks and drive-through restaurants are treated differently for the purposes of this requirement, where you can adjoin a residential parcel with a bank drive-through, but not a restaurant drive-through.
just thought I'd ask.
Yep.
Yep.
Anybody else have a question?
I'd like to also
Who
note
wrote
that
that rule?
I have a little island that I put in addition to the tree buffer. There's a little island there, so where they order, I'll have some screening to block out noise and light. They have digital menu board. That'll go where there's a little island there, down towards the southeast corner of the building. There's a little island there. So,
Mr. Simpson?
Okay, yeah, so the one concern I have, at least it needs to be discussed, is the cut-through traffic for people in Target coming back out through this property now, so they can hit the M5 connector. Because I know as I've shopped at that Target, it's a pain to then have to go back around, go back out to Middle Belt to get back on the M5 connector to head west. So I think that might be a bit of a, I don't know if the traffic study looked at how much traffic might be coming through that complex into that.
It's 870 pages. They covered all that.
Okay.
They covered people leaving and trying to screech across and what the probability of it is and how many that could happen. But when they come out of Purdue, they have enough time to beat the fork in the road, but you'll see basically, and then I studied it a lot too. On Grand River, for you to get onto Grand River safely, you
My
need a red
concern
light.
really isn't Grand River. My concern is the traffic going through your parking lot as people are trying to get out of Target and get quickly out there. If you've got cars backed up, there might be a problem actually on the property with traffic inside your property with people cutting through. That's just a concern I'd have.
Sure, I can stack over 20 cars before they exit. That's why we use this design, because as you know, a lot of Starbucks flow into the street. That's not gonna happen here. And they even state in the traffic report, we're not gonna overflow into the street. But if you took the first car, I can tell you there's about 22 cars stacked before they even hit Purdue, if they leave through Purdue. If they don't, they'll leave another way. Bless you. But they got it covered on all angles. I had them study every turnaround east, every turnaround west, how many go to the west M5, because Starbucks will only come.
I'm
Based
not
on-
going to complain about that.
No,
That
I
would be a
know.
nice cut through.
No, I hear you, but I mean, the other thing is, you're gonna have the crazy drivers, regardless if I do the project or not. They're still gonna do, we got this entry only, people still drive crazy and go out of the entrance only, right? The one in front of Target. It says enter only, and you'll get some people that will just use that to try to leave. So,
Okay. Mrs. Grant?
Yeah, I do have a question in reference to the traffic report that you guys did. So on Grand River, is there a divider there, like when you cross up, because it seems like, it's like you're gonna be immediately like right there in that traffic, so that's one of my concerns.
so we're about 800 feet away from the fork. But if you leave from there, you have, they have a study on how much time you have to get there. They also state, and just in general, wherever you are on that street, leaving any street on Grand River, it's always easier to leave when the light's red. If it's a busy street, it's still hard to leave, whether this is there or not. But there is time to get to the V, and they'll say how many cars take the M5 West. Their whole deal was, I said, hey, come in, take the same spot. Do you have to go through, they said, we need to be able to get back onto East M5.
right.
West is not the problem. It's the east, to turn around and go back the other way. If they don't have this entrance, they can't get back to east. They would only be able to go west. So that's the difficulty. That's why this is no other option except to come to this. Or unless, if they would give us, if you grant us a driveway, the existing driveway that came on these two parcels, there was two of them. I think we've already tried that option and it was a no. So, you know, I would love to do that and not even deal with this, but again, it's the same story. You're just moving that driveway instead of there, it's 7 or 8 feet away from the corner. There's two little driveways there already with the old buildings.
Thank you. Eric, wasn't there a problem with the scale on this?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we can't ascertain the true dimensions of any of this based on the scale provided. I think there's actually a note on the plans that say that it's not to scale, essentially, so we can't draw really any real conclusions about.
No, you need to fix that.
Yeah, I was telling Eric, the reason for that was just to show the context of the site. If I got it to scale,
Okay. As long as
I
you-
would have 30 pages.
Okay, as you know, we can't approve this tonight, but you get a denial, then you can work with Eric to go to ZBA. You ready for a motion?
Yeah. I'd like to make a motion. I move that approval of site plan 67/2022 dated July 18th, 2022, submitted by Nicholas Shango be denied.
Support?
I think we want to deny it because,
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, well, it was stated to be a denial and he can go back to zoning, right?
Go to ZBA, and then he could ultimately come back before the planning commission with
Because
revised
it-
plans.
Right, yeah, we
does
want
not
you to
meet-
come back, you have to get use approval. through
Because it
zoning.
does not meet the standards of section
Need to get a
435 of the
zoning
zoning
variance.
ordinance.
Right, because, yeah, the
I
use
wanna-
now prevented this.
Hold on, Marissa. Hold on, Marissa.
Yeah.
Joe, say it again.
Thank you.
Because it does not meet the standards of section 435 of the zoning ordinance. That's your
What he
reason for
said,
denial.
because it doesn't meet the zoning ordinance. Thank you.
Yes.
So we look forward to having you back.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor. Is there further discussion?
Anybody support it?
No one supported it.
well, I'll support that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Manning.
Great, thanks.
I don't necessarily want to discuss it, but I do want to ask a question, if that's okay.
Sure, of course.
Do you understand why we're denying it and what the next steps are?
I understand, but why wasn't I sent to ZBA first?
Because you have to have a denial to go there.
Procedural formality, I mean, it's,
Okay.
yeah, that's how the
Okay,
process works.
because I'm under a tight window. I got to do this before winter. But
You can ask zoning board of appeals for this variance, we can't grant variances.
I
In
understand.
most instances, and this
As
is.
long, I think the purpose of tonight, I want you to understand the gist of it. I mean, I'm putting all my cards out on the table. I'm going to the residences. I know that's going to be a factor, but I want everybody to understand what we're doing and what impact, you know, any questions they have. We've done a thorough, we spent a lot of money on the traffic study, so it's going to help
We
everybody.
appreciate
Yeah, no
that
problem.
and your input and your explanation of the development.
problem.
Definitely appreciate it.
If I lived there, I would like to know, you know, and
Thank
I don't
you.
want anybody to get blindsided, so, we're doing that now.
Great.
There's a motion on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Are there any additions or corrections?
A motion to approve the minutes from July 21.
Their support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
That was for both sets, or two set like?
That was implied in what she said, yes.
Well, there's, yeah,
There were two sets of minutes, and you just cited the one date.
Study and regular.
But they both had the same
Oh,
date.
Special and
So we
regular
assumed
meeting.
you were,
Minutes
6
was
o'clock meeting
plural.
and the 7:30 meeting.
yeah.
Special and regular, yes.
Yes. We did vote on that, right?
We did.
Okay, good.
We all said aye.
We did vote.
Yes. All right, any public comments? I think not.
Was it
Commissioner
public?
comments? Yes?
I have one comment. I decided that since we are Farmington Hills, we should figure out where the hills are in Farmington Hills. So I went to the engineering department and actually Karen pulled the map out and showed me the highest point in Farmington Hills is at the 14-mile and Haggerty area, and it goes downhill from there. The lowest point in Farmington Hills is over at 8 Mile and Inkster area. So the city kind of goes from the north the northwest corner down to the southeast corner, and it drops probably about 200 to 300 feet. So I thought I actually live on a hill in Farmington Hills, but it is about 100, 200 feet lower than 14 Mile and Haggerty is. So if anybody is ever concerned about where the hill is, that's where it starts.
Thank you, Mr.
Information, appreciate that.
Any other comments?
I thought it was
Mr. Manning?
I just thought I'd say
have
that
2 foot
I
in it
can't
also.
top that.
Gotta send them over to engineering to get that layer. Yeah.
Oh, God. Anybody else? Comments? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Support?
I support it.
Okay, moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey.
Those opposed, same sign.
And that was Grant from where? Is that correct?
Hey, we're adjourned.
All right.